Good evening. Welcome back, first and foremost. My name is Brother Lewis, and I'm coming to you with information. This video is for informational and educational purposes only. And I'm talking about corruption within leadership roles, no matter what those roles may be. And no matter what institution, organization, affiliation those roles might be occurring in. We've been making videos now for a little bit of time, and we're going to make a bit of a change. I have been, over the last few videos, presenting comments and emails, some text messages from individuals that have been reaching out to us. However, I will be trying to do that on a more regular basis, but I want to include those as we go forward at the end of the videos. That said, there's an email that I've been reading, actually responding to as well, and getting responses from one of our viewers. And it's quite extensive, quite detailed, with a lot of questions that seem to be revolving around support of the current, supposedly, leader of the organization of which I am a part of, the United House of Prayer for All People. Our leaders, however, has been acting outside of the scope of the law. The laws of our organization, as well as other laws. So I've made a lot of claims and I've said a lot of things, and to the best of my ability, I came to back up, support, validate, confirm, verify, give evidence to support or prove those claims, those allegations, those accusations, my statements, the points that I've made. And for the most part, most agree they have been effective at showing the viewers in the audience, showing you what it is that I've been saying and the truth behind those things that I've been saying. However, there are still some who either do not yet see the truth of what I'm saying, or for whatever reason, they would rather challenge or contend with the things that I'm saying. So I'm going to go a different route for the sake of those few individuals that may be wrestling with whether or not you should be receiving, accepting, believing the information that I'm giving to you. I think I'm going to, rather than me share things that I know or that I've learned or that I'm suggesting, I'm going to go to various articles and I'm going to pull up things for you all to actually just listen to as I read others, other professionals, other experts in their fields, talk about some of the same things. Now, of course, I know that anybody can go online and find any article to refute things that I'm saying for the most part. However, I'm going to attempt to find information that will absolutely prove and support what it is that I'm saying, and it will not allow for individuals to refute or even deny or attempt to argue or debate what it is that I'm saying. So with that in mind, at the time, I gave away some bands, and this is what the noise is right now. I just realized my wife orders bands, rubber bands, and they have scriptures on them. And that's what it is that you've been seeing me wear in the videos. But different colors, almost any color, and various tones of those colors. The one that I have now, I'm getting ready to put on. This one is James 4 and 8. And it says, draw near to God, and he will draw near to you. Should have known. But anyway, that's what the noise is that you're hearing. I hand them out. Sometimes I give, just go out and give them out in handfuls. And if I run out, sometimes I'll take them off my wrist and I'll share with people. And this is what I've done. And I forgot to put them on. I kind of advertise them as well so that I can hand them out and people have scripture on their wrist to wear. And it's a very nice tool to remind people of the word of God. That said, anyway, talking to the individuals who, for whatever reason, don't seem to agree with the things that I'm saying, there's still a handful of people, not even a handful, maybe just a few have reached out and said they don't agree with what it is that I'm doing. But whenever I ask what is it that I'm doing, they don't have an answer, which leads me to believe that they're not really watching the videos. They're simply attacking the videos and what it is I'm doing. But it's expected. We have individuals that attack people who talk about the bishop in any type of negative fashion. And that's something that I've attempted to try to get across to everyone. I'm not coming to talk about the bishop of the organization at any era, generation, or time. The current person who's sitting in the seat as the leader is currently also under charges of violating many of the laws within our organization. Therefore, he should have been suspended from the office of bishop. However, he's still acting in the full capacity of a bishop, still traveling around and doing nothing more than collecting money. That's all that he's doing. And this isn't an attack towards him. This is just a fact of the matter. And I've asked several times, repeatedly, if anyone can tell me what the responsibilities of the leader of the United House of Prayer for All People is, please put it in the comments. We've been doing this since December 31st, 2024. As of yet, nobody has been able to tell me what the responsibilities or the duties of the leader of the United House of Prayer for All People is. I've asked and I've challenged everyone in the organization, including him, to show what is it that he is undeserving of compensation for. That is an issue that goes against our Constitution. However, yet and still, he writes different laws. He, meaning the person in that position. This current man, Mr. Cunningham, has not written those things in the Are You Aware today. They were there prior to his taking possession of the bishop's office in this organization. So the thing is, however, it's still something that is it's still something that goes against what's in our Constitution. Anyway, the label for this channel has been one that has drawn questions. Going forward, as I was saying, I'm going to be giving information and I'm going to be reading from others while I make points that I would like to make pertaining to the organization that I'm a part of, in order to also express to the members, the followers, the various issues that we are observing, so that they can recognize these issues as negative ones and not positives. So as we go forward, these videos going forward, the labels of the title will be changed to UHOP Labels. UHOP Labels. Why labels? United House of Prayer labels. Why labels? Because I'm going to be labeling the subjects and the subject matter of whatever it is that we're going to be discussing going on into the future. Therefore, it should be simpler, as well as giving a detailed description of what the contents of that particular video is, so that individuals will be able to find the video speaking about those issues in an easier fashion. So again, going forward, this will be UHOP labels. Still going to continue with the numbers in the series, and we'll just pick up and go from there. That said, let me touch on something, because there's things that we've covered already. Okay. As I said, I've read comments in the last videos, and one of those comments was from someone who had asked about masonry. And I had shared in those, in my response to them, that I don't know much about masonry. I'm not a mason. However, I said I do have friends that are, and I said that I did speak with several. I did not say I spoke with one person. I said I've spoken with several individuals that are actively in the lodge. Many, I'll go as far as to say many members of the lodge I know personally. And I've had extensive conversation with several of those individuals who did not know that I was having conversations with other lodge members. I've even shared that I was a neighbor in one of the places where I resided. My next door neighbor was a lodge member, and they themselves was at the top of the lodge in that entire area. Again, I don't know a lot about masonry. I don't know what the titles are, what they represent, but I know he was a worshipful master, or the next level above worshipful master. And he talked to me about if I were to join. Others had talked to him about me, giving him all types of accolades. If I were to join, he would see to it that it would be no issue with me going all the way up. Again, I don't know what that means. All I can share is the things that have been told to me. And anytime I don't know something, I'm going to express that. As I said before, when I started these videos, do not believe a word I say. And I told everyone that I've even said this in the Bible studies that I'm a part of. Don't believe nothing I say. And for that matter, you shouldn't believe anything anybody else says. I do that in order to suggest to people that they should develop a habit of having individuals back up what they're telling them before they believe and then share what they're telling them. So I hold myself to that standard because I don't want to be passing on wrong information. So again, I didn't say I spoke with one person about masonry. I spoke with several. And the information that I gave in the response to that question, whether or not our leaders are Masons, it's been said that they are. I know within our organization we have a group of people that are Masons, but I don't know how this works. There is a section of the men in the United House of Prayer for All People. Yes, they are within what appears to be Masonry. And I also said that I've spoken with several other Masons that are not affiliated with the Masons of the House of Prayer who said that the Masons outside do not look upon them favorably because of different things that they've done, different things that they know, and different reputations that they have. I don't know the truth of that matter. I'm not that knowledgeable about this subject, but several individuals have shared those same views. So again, I don't mind anybody emailing me, putting comments, but make sure you before you comment, make sure you double check what you're commenting on so that you know exactly what it is that I'm saying. Whenever I respond to people, I put quotation marks because I'm letting them know that I've checked and I'm about to repeat exactly what you said to me, or in any other format. I'm going to repeat exactly to you. This is why I've been so successful at winning so many cases. I'll leave it at that. Because I'm going to use your information against you. And this is exactly what we hear when police pull you over and they read Miranda rights. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. So I practice doing the same thing. I'm going to listen to you very carefully, and I'm going to repeat exactly to what you said in my retort. Whenever you hear me speak, because I know I'm going to use what you have said in my retort, in my response, I'm also very leery of what I say, because I'm expecting you to use what I say against me. So you should be full well in the knowledge of the fact that before I say something, I'm thinking about it. And if I misspeak, if I make a mistake, I will come back and clear it up by saying I was mistaken. If I said something inaccurately, if I said something wrong, I'll come back and I'll clear it up. I don't mind being wrong. I don't mind, and my wife is going to love this, by the way. I don't mind being wrong. I don't mind apologizing when I'm wrong. I don't mind being corrected when I'm wrong. Just make sure that I'm actually wrong. And this has been my issue within our organization, because we have a lot of men in positions of authority who's pointing the finger at a lot of people for doing wrong. The problem is they can't tell them what wrong they're doing. But other people can look at them and put a finger on all these different wrongs that they're doing. I digress. We're going to come back to that as we get into the meat and potatoes of this video. But for that individual who asked some lab, I think was in that username, lab u. But to answer your question, someone sent this to me in response to what it is that I put up on the video. So we see that our former leader, absolutely, and there's individuals also in this picture that you know that are members of the House of Prayer. Others are pastors and district chairmen and state chairmen. So again, this is to answer your question. And here's another. Okay. Just to show. Okay. So to answer your question, yes, it very much looks like they are Masons. However, when you get into the backstory of Masonry, you'll find that there are different groups within Masonry. That every Mason may not be affiliated with another Mason. At least this is the understanding that I've been given. So you ask questions, I'm going to answer them to the best of my ability. As you can see, again, I talk about being transparent, because we should all be transparent. You should be able to be transparent if you're going to want people to trust you. You should not trust people that are not transparent. That's a nickel's worth of advice. A lot of people tell you that they would be willing to pay a whole lot more than a nickel. You should not trust people that are not transparent. And you should be leery of people who go through such lengths of covering up what they're doing so that you won't know what they're doing. Okay? So anyway, that's that. So what is it that I want to get into today? We're going to be talking about something that actually came up in the emails as well. Let me share with you one more thing that I talked about because of the comments. Mr. Cunningham is now doing what we call the Midwest tour, visiting various houses of prayers in the Midwest. with that said, I have shared with you all that people around the organization are finding out what's been going on. I told you about a home that he had purchased for a pastor who's married with no children. The home was advertised as a 4-bedroom, I believe. The problem is the home is actually a 9-bedroom house. It may or may not be zoned for that, but it is a 9-bedroom, 3 full bathroom home, completely refurbished and renovated with bells and whistles. It is a beautiful, if I might add, a beautiful home for any household. At any rate, my questions were, why would he purchase a $300,000, $400,000 house for a pastor? In the Midwest, and the members are taxed. Every auxiliary is to pay $200. And by every auxiliary, that means each club in every house of prayer in the Midwest. There's several houses of prayer, several congregations in the Midwest. And to ask every club, that's $200 a piece, to give to Chicago. Because when he visited Chicago, last year he stayed in the Ritz-Carlton. And the report is that that cost somewhere around $10,000 to $11,000. It's a lot of pollen in this area as well. Normally I have a nasal drip from my time in the service, but it's a little bit more enacted because of the pollen. Anyway, was the money that was spent to purchase that home, was it his personal money out of pocket, or was it organizational funds? Money from the organization. And if it was organizational funds, then, well, why not purchase a home for every pastor? We have some pastors paying rent. We have some pastors paying a nice penny in rent. We have some pastors that pay reduced rent, but it's rent just the same. We have some pastors that don't pay reduced rent. They're paying full rent. And those are for properties owned by the organization. And we have some pastors that are pastoring that are not living in a property owned by the organization, but they're living in a property owned privately, and they're paying full rental rates for that geographical area. Some pastors may be paying upward of $1,500, $2,000, $2,500, and yes, up to $3,000 per month. And yet those pastors are still encouraged. Really, they're being pushed and coerced to be on Addie's Club whenever the bishop comes, and to push the members to be on Addie's Club, meaning those same pastors are expected to have $2,000 besides all their other financial burdens, responsibilities. They're expected to have the members also pay $2,000 whenever he visits. Now, that's just for what we call G-Class. Not to mention, they expect him to also push the members to give him love offering. Love offering. They're coerced to do this. This is not free will. And then they're expecting the pastors to push them to also pay tithes. So there is a financial burden of G-Class, $2,000 whenever he comes, tithes, and love gift. And now chairmen have met with pastors to see to it that they're making a call for love gift every single night of the week. Every night, asking the people to give money towards the pocket of whoever's sitting in that seat. Right now it's Mr. Cunningham. This is just extra money going into his pocket. And the Are You Aware says that the compensation for the bishop's services to the organization is money that's being given to him during what we call a love march. Whenever he's present in service, the people of the organization that are present, they will get up during bands playing music, and they will march around and put money in a pan. That's considered love gift and love march, and that is money that's taxed. I don't know if all this other money being raised around the organization on a weekly basis, if that's being reported so it can be taxed. But the members are expected to give every week to him, as well as when he arrives to give more to him. If they ride in the buses, to give more to him. If they're on a club, choir, or band, they're expected to even give more if they're going to be on the program for that night. Anyway, the pastors are not in the same predicament. What he did there to purchase that $400,000 house for him, yet expect the members to pay $200 for his hotel room, not just his, but the hotel of the entourage. Many people see that as a huge problem because he's a millionaire. And why is it that you're expecting these people living in poverty, as well as medium income levels, to pay for a hotel room that you can easily pay for yourself and it not hit you? You're going to be receiving tens of thousands of dollars minimum on that night. Tens of thousands minimum. That's just love gift. Not to mention hundreds of thousands, if not millions, in G-class as well as other love gifts. Okay? But yet and still, that one got a house, 9 bedrooms at that, that he's not paying for. It's been bought and sold, bought and paid for, rather, by the bishop. Now, that brings me to this. Here's another. Another house. This house with the tan shadow looking paint. This house was purchased also, San Francisco. And that's by the last bishop. Okay? And the question is, $400,000. Are these homes coming out of the House of Prayer account? Are they coming out of the bishop's personal money? And another question is, if it's coming out of his personal money, then why is it he's spending hundreds of thousands of his personal money for this pastor or that pastor, but not every pastor? And then why is it that some pastors do get an apartment that at his approval, they don't have to pay any rent? Others don't get rent exemption. They pay discounted rent. Others, no apartment at all. And to make matters even worse, there's several pastors, time and time again in this organization, while they were pastoring, they were experiencing homelessness. The longest term that I'm aware of where a pastor was homeless with the knowledge of the members, the knowledge of his chairman, and the knowledge of whoever else, the leadership, was over a year. Yes, we had a pastor homeless over a year who even called over a year. Now, there may have been 4 or 5 in that situation for more than a year. If I'm not mistaken, but I don't, again, want to give false information. So many pastors for months at a time, they were alone, but sometimes you've had pastors whose wife was with them, homeless. But this one or another one, they get free rent in the apartment or an entire house for free. Something is wrong in the united, not but the united or the not united house of prayer for all people. Anyway, again, I'm saying all of this because we need to understand that there is an absolute need to check, to observe, to watch, as well as critique anybody in leadership positions. For that reason, there is something called a leadership evaluation chart. You have things referred to as leadership assessment tests. You have organizations that, no matter who their CEO is, that president is, even board members, they're constantly evaluated. Why? To check the production of or the performance of that individual in that position. Because if they're not performing in a good manner that's going to benefit the organization, then what is it that the organization needs to do? You already know. If their performance is bad, if sales are dropping, if membership is dropping, if employee morale is dropping, if the employee turnover rate is increasing, if employees are complaining, if employees become hostile, if there's a report under this particular company, Assembly, and under this company, they put together reports from a common sense perspective and a common sense approach. Why? Because they want to dumb it down. Not so much for the bottom line individuals, but for the top. You all would be amazed at how many people in leadership positions have no clue what they're doing whatsoever. And they rely on individuals around or beneath them, subordinates, to get even their job done. And this says why supervisory evaluations matter. And I'm going to read so that you don't hear me just saying a lot of stuff. I'm going to refer to things. So UHOP labels. This label is the importance of evaluating leaders. The importance of evaluating leaders. Why supervisor evaluations matter. Supervisor evaluations are not just about assessing performance. They are about fostering growth, enhancing communication, and building a stronger team. Effective evaluations can lead to improved leadership skills. If leaders paid attention to the issues that their subordinates bring to them, it could actually make the leaders better. It could enhance them. It can help them, if nothing else. It would, of course, benefit others, but the best benefit for a leader who listens is that when information is being provided to you as a leader, that information is very much capable of making the leader better. A better person, a better listener, a better advisor, a better, who was it? I won't say his name. He said, I'm a decider. I'm a decider. A better decider, decision maker. Just overall a better leader. Overall. If they knew how to listen and accept information coming from people. Most of all, if they subjected themselves to, that's why it's called constructive. But if they subjected themselves to constructive criticism, oh, that would make them such a dynamic leader. But many leaders do not understand the devastation that they bring to themselves by not learning how to listen to people. Ooh. Keep listening. Effective evaluations can lead to improved leadership skills, better team dynamics, and increased employee engagement, working hand in hand with the employees. A lot of leaders separate themselves from the people that's working under them. Oh, that's such a big mistake. David did not get the respect that he got by sitting in the palace and ordering the army to take charge, run out there and fight. When he did sit in the palace, it's because he had gained the people's respect already, because they knew that David had a history. He had a reputation. Because they knew whenever David had a battle, he was right there out on the front line, not sitting on a horse at the top of the hill watching the battle from a distance. David charged in the battle while his mighty men are around him. And he would jump off of the horse and fight with his hands. He would get dirty and he would get bloody. They respected him because he got in the fight. His own life was at stake. But he put his life on the line many, 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 many times. And the people who followed him respected him because he put his own life on the line for them. He didn't use the people for whatever his own personal interests were back at the palace. It says, by focusing on key areas such as communication, leadership, and support, organizations can ensure that their supervisors are equipped to lead their teams successfully. Organizations will see to it that their CEOs get training. Organizations, if they don't see to it that their CEOs get training, it's because they've checked the CEO's resume and they've concluded, well, he doesn't need any training. He's got extensive training, or she. But they need to know for themselves what type of leader you're going to be. And there's where the evaluations come in, especially if you're already serving in that capacity. We're going to look at your performance. We're going to check out how you've done. Goes on to say, benefits of regular evaluations. One of the top is improved leadership skills. Feedback helps managers understand their impact and develop their abilities. When you're getting feedback, again, it's called constructive criticism. And people telling you, well, how you did, what do they think? I love having conversations with people, whether by email, whether they're the comments, or whether calling, because I'm going to ask you, what did you think about the video, the information? What are your thoughts? And I'm taking in feedback. Right now, we're going another route with the videos because I'm listening to feedback coming from emails. And these are people who are criticizing. But I'm not taking the criticism negatively. I'm taking criticism constructively. What can I do to change, to enhance what it is that I'm doing to approach people in conversation in order to bring to their attention some issues or some problems that they more than likely don't want to hear nothing about? You can't just force yourself on people. You have to approach them softly so that you can engage in conversation, and maybe in that conversation present something that they don't want to hear. But if you approach them cautiously, wisely, not aggressive, but in a very humbled demeanor, then they may be willing to give you their ear. They might learn something in the process, and now you can work together. Our Heavenly Father himself said, let us reason together. Come, sit at the table. Let's talk. If he could do that, says feedback helps managers understand their impact and develop their abilities. For instance, a supervisor might learn that their team values more frequent check-ins, leading to better time management and increased visibility. Check-ins. I'm going to need you all to report every 2 hours. Check in with me every 2 hours. Every 2 hours, okay, where we at? Oh, we're almost done for the day. We already got this knocked out. That okay, good. Where you at? Same thing. We're almost done for the day. Good job. Where you at? We're behind a little, but we're trying to pick it up. Why are you behind? Well, we had the drop box. It fell and it broke. We had to replace it. The bucket winch, it gave a little bit, and we're waiting on Ralph to get there with the repair. Got you, no problem. Y'all on top of it? Yes. And y'all back on? Yes. And y'all trying to catch up? Good. Okay. So you two teams, if you finish early, tell the crew they can go ahead and leave. Or you can get started on the next project. It helps time management. It helps the finances going into the expenses of the work, whether it's labor expense, whether it's industrial, whether it's equipment, whether it's paying for the entire job. It helps you better manage those pennies because you only get a certain number of pennies to work with. And if I put 18 pennies over here, I need to make sure that that's going to be enough to cover the job. If you happen to save me 5 of those pennies because you've only spent 13, good job. I can take those 5 pennies and apply them over here, saving us all together money. Or if it's going to cost 8 more pennies, well, then we can look at that, understand where it's going, decide, do we want to do this? Yes, let's go for it. If it's already costing us too much, then we need to either cut it and let's move on somewhere else. But the decision making need to be done by a team. And it's hard to be a team when one person's out on the field trying to run the ball by themselves with no one else. You will never win that game. Michael Jordan, no matter how good he is. I talk about Allen Iverson. I personally believe that Allen Iverson was way better than Michael Jordan. And I say that because Allen Iverson did not have Michael Jordan's height. He did not have his arm length, his reach. But if you look at these two individuals, this is why I talk about fighting pound for pound. Allen Iverson, the greatest ever, in my opinion. I know I'm going to be wrong in a lot of people's eyes. But he did things that nobody did at his size. He dunked on people way bigger than him. He drove through people all around him. This is him going through walls, and he's putting the ball in that bucket over and over and over and over and over and over again. Point being, Jordan, you got people your height. You got people your body size, your build. Allen Iverson, he got to go around all of you, and he got to figure this out. It's a no-brainer. You need people who can work together. And Allen Iverson, Michael Jordan, whoever you feel is better. It doesn't matter what player, not even the best, will win a game. You can take the greatest player of all time and put him out on the floor against 5 amateurs. They will not win that game. You can't do it alone. Regular evaluations, see to it that the team is being improved upon constantly, consistently. Enhance team performance. Better leadership directly correlates with improved team outcomes. This is what I was just saying. Teams with effective supervisors often report higher productivity and better project completion rates. They'll get the job done because of the leadership. Poor leadership, job's going to fall apart. Nothing's going to get done. Good, effective leadership, be on it. Everything running, this is why you say like clockwork. If there's something wrong with all those parts that's being used to make a clock, if one thing wrong, the time hand might still move, the minute hand, the hour hand, even the second hand. But is it going to give you the correct time? Your second hand, as it's going around, it should every single second hit another number. But if the second hand is doing this, then something's wrong with the clock. It's not going to be as effective. Teams working together under a good leader is going to be effective. How will you know that the leader is good if you never evaluate them? If you never critique them? If you never give them an assessment? How in the world can you determine whether or not that leader is good? And the bigger question is, should you give a person the opportunity by throwing them out there and seeing if they make a good captain, a good general? We're going to be doing this going forward. I'm hoping that you hear the information being given to you. And I'm hoping that you don't judge the information being given to you. It's okay to respond, write me, critique me. But if you're going to judge the information, then before you do so, take the time to make sure that you listen carefully so that you can quote me and don't say, well, it sounds like you were saying. Because now you're just giving me opinions about your perceptions. Write down exactly what it is I'm saying. That said, I'm going to go ahead and close this video out. It's been 45 minutes already. And we'll come right back. And I'll see you in the next video.